It's the Brad and John Show.
It's Friday, December 20th. Reference. The reason I make that reference is people who are listening right now know it's Friday, December 20th. But if you're listening at some point in time in the future, either on the podcast, which is at bjshow.co, or in the video podcast, which is bjshow.video, you might want to get a little bit of reference as to what today's date is, that to make sense of what we talk about. Okay, John, for the last time this year, I almost have a tear running down my throat running down my throat. Maybe I have that as well too. Running down my cheek. For the last time this year, I have got to talk. God, I can't talk now. I've got to talk to a very important person who actually, he may not even answer the phone anymore because he's become a big, huge TV star.
National television star, a national satellite.
Right. We're not talking just like on Show Me St. Louis. We're talking about on the Today Show. Jack Frost, if he'll answer the phone. Maybe once.
Well, hello.
Mr. Frost?
Season's freezings, Brad. How are you?
Are you actually going to talk to us? Because I understand that your head has grown exponentially since you've been a big TV star a week ago today.
It is true. The offers keep coming in. The people who did Wicked want me to do an ice version of it called Slicked. It's a whole, prequel to the Blizzard of Oz. So I have a couple minutes I can chat with you, but my agent gets very upset.
And I've heard your agent. Matter of fact, I've heard you have two agents. I heard you have both Ice-T and Ice Cube. Is that correct?
That's true. We go way back to when we had a rap career together with that famous album, I Like Chestnuts and I Cannot Lie.
This is Jack Frost, the lead character, I call him, who is one of the characters. One of how many characters this year, Mr. Frost?
We have 51 different characters for our 50th anniversary.
God, it's hard to believe. And this is all going on the streets of St. Charles, predominantly on South Main, correct?
Correct. South Main and Frontier Park and the big Katy Depot.
It's hard for me to believe that this is the last weekend, right?
It is. It went by incredibly fast. It's been wonderful all season long, but we have one weekend left. But don't worry, if you haven't been able to get out there yet, there's still plenty of fun to be had over the next few days.
Now, runs down the times on tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, and then the bonus time on Tuesday, correct?
Sure, absolutely. So tonight, we're back with a vengeance from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Tonight is also our final Krampus Carnival of the season for people who like the old world European lore. And then we're back this weekend, Saturday from noon to 8:30 p.m. And that will kick off at noon with the Santa Parade. And then on Sunday from noon to 5 p.m. we'll also kick off with the Santa Parade at noon. And then our final day is Christmas Eve, December 24th. We'll be out from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And at 1:30 we'll kick off our big pep rally, the Santa send-off. And we're going to bury a time capsule near the big city Christmas tree in honor of our 50th anniversary.
Interesting. From your appearance, and you did a nice job in that. I didn't actually see it, but I've had tons of people told me. It's funny. I had 3 or 4 people text me, "Hey, that guy that you have in the show was on the Today Show this morning." I go, "Yeah, that's why we couldn't have him on last Friday. We had him on last Thursday."
That's right.
And that is a real honor because of the fact that is something they're doing with the Today Show to really showcase the, shall we say, the creme de la creme of holiday celebrations?
Oh, absolutely. I have always said that I think the St. Charles Christmas Traditions Festival is the best kept holiday secret in the entire country. And it's nice that, it only took 50 years, but now people around the nation can say, oh, they're doing something really special there in old historic Main Street. And hopefully they'll come and check it out for themselves one day.
Well, Jack, it's been a pleasure as always every single year. And I hate to see you go. So on 25th, you're back up to the North Pole. Is that the
That's
case?
Right. Up to Frost Vegas, where I live in Freezer's Palace. But don't worry, just like Frosty the Snowman, I'll be back again someday.
Well, maybe not. Maybe if Ice-T and Ice Cube put you into like the rap star, and you're like the next guy. There's going to be like the next. Well, shall we say P Diddy? No, we don't want to say P Diddy. That's we don't want that, do we? Okay. Well, Jack Frost, thanks again, and one more time tonight. Well, let's just do it this way. Web address if people want more information. We'll give them all the schedule. What's the web address?
Absolutely. stcharleschristmas.com, stcharleschristmas.com.
Jack, it's always a pleasure, and I will talk to you again.
Always a pleasure.
Hopefully next year when I'll be 90. So I'm older than you.
There you go. Okay. Well, season's freezings to you and all of your listeners, Brad. Happy New Year.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You know what? He does such a good job. I mean, he's
Freezer's Palace. I like that one.
He's so quick. I mean, he could do. You know, what's interesting, he takes on the persona of Jack Frost. He could do a stand-up comedy routine. I mean, if you've ever heard him, when we used to have him on, you remember, probably you listen from time to time when I had him on with Shelley. There's
for sure.
Sometimes he would, I would literally be busting a gut in the studio because he's so quick. I mean, I would say something and immediately he picks up on it and throws out like Freezer's Palace and stuff like that. I go like, God, this guy's good. And he's the ultimate salesperson for Christmas traditions. I mean, there is no better salesperson for him because it's fun. It doesn't cost anything. It's very positive. It's very family positive. There's nothing that you're going to be embarrassed about when you go to see it with your kids. It's just a good time. And, all the people that put this on, we deal with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and thanks to all the people that do the advertising with us. They've been with us for several years. Dan Borgmeyer, Mayor of St. Charles, who has, a say in this as well, too. They all should be congratulated because every year it gets better. And they started the Legends and Lanterns thing, I guess, 7 or 8 years ago, and that's actually grown very, very well as well, too. So good stuff in St. Charles City. I was going to say St. Charles County, but it's St. Charles City. I can't talk this morning, John. I'm sorry. Okay. Can I talk about something that just ticks me off whenever I hear about it?
Oh, it's your fight with the guy in Troy, Missouri yesterday. Yes, we all want to hear about it, Brad.
No, it's the government shutdown. Here we go again. Okay, today is Friday the 20th. Okay, John, until Monday, January 6th, how many government people you think are going to actually be working for the next 2 weeks? Tell me.
None. Absolutely none.
So what the hell difference does it make if the government shuts down? And my point is the government shuts down 2 days out of the week, every single damn week. Don't tell me that, well, that's not true. Okay, try calling the Social Security Administration tomorrow or on any Sunday. Try going to the federal courts building downtown tomorrow. Guess what? You can't get in. So and once again, like every Friday or every Saturday and Sunday, the air traffic controllers are still at work. Like, the Army's still out there protecting us, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the Space Force, all those people, they're still out there protecting us. The people at the airport who are, scanning us through the scanners, the TSA people, they're still there. They don't give up. What do we need all these other people for, right? Because if
well, clearly you don't care about old people that need their Social Security checks, and you don't care about children, Brad. So I guess we know where you stand.
Okay, but the thing that gets me about this is, and on this morning I'm listening to another radio station, and they had the person, well, hold on. When you're 89, you got to cough a lot. Okay. The lady reporter saying, well, what's sad about this is it's going to furlough government employees. Well, the part of that which doesn't make me sad at all is, let's say the government shuts down for a month. They don't get a check for a month. But then when the government comes back in session or comes back online, they get their back pay for doing nothing. And I'm going like, okay, so why are they hurt? Well, they didn't get 2 paychecks. I don't know how often they get paid or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If I was working for a paycheck and someone said to me, hey, we're going to not pay you for a month, but then we're going to pay you, but you don't have to work because you're being furloughed for a month. But when you come back next month, we're going to give you last month's pay. And I'm going like, wasn't that like 4 weeks free vacation? Oh, no, because you were just furloughed and we gave you your back pay. But I didn't do anything for 4 weeks. Well, you're still an employee, so we give you your 4 weeks for doing nothing. I mean, like, once again, to me, explain that to me, John. Does that make any sense to you at all?
It doesn't make any sense at all. And once again, you fall into your trap, Brad, of applying logic and private sector logic to government. And it doesn't make any sense.
And this crazy thing going on with and to the point where the news that was big time news yesterday was good old Mr. Rand Paul. Did you hear who he suggested should be the next Speaker of the House?
No, I didn't hear that.
Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have to be a member of Congress.
Right. You don't have to be a member of Congress to be the Speaker of the House. And so he's suggesting, I'm thinking to myself, either him or who I think would be the other alternative person to run be the Speaker of the House?
Who's that?
The dude who runs the UFC. Either one of those two guys, Elon Musk, what's his name? Dana White. Either Elon Musk or Dana White. Because if you ever heard Dana White in a press conference and people ask him goofy questions, have you ever heard this before? You ever heard
I haven't heard. I'm sorry, I cut out for a second. No, I haven't heard this.
Oh my God, he is so good. He is just essentially say, "That's a stupid question. I'm not answering that." I mean, he's like,
"Oh yeah." He has no patience for that type of stuff. Yeah, I've heard him at his post MMA or UFC conferences. Yeah,
yes,
fantastic.
He's he has in focus the fact that he's trying to, and has been very successful at growing the UFC into this incredible upstart sport that nobody thought was going to go anywhere. I still remember my oldest son. I remember one day going by the family arena in St. Charles, and there's a thing on their message board talking about MMA comes to the family arena. And I called my son. I go, okay, what's MMA? And he says, Dad, you don't know what MMA is? I go, no. He says, mixed martial arts. And I go, and that is? And he explains it to me. This has been like 10 years ago. Once again, it's a multi-billion-dollar sport. And the crazy part of this is, I will say this once again, the baseball people had better look over their shoulder because of the fact that I have 3 sons. And all 3 of my sons, if I called all 3 of them right now and said, hey, when's the last time you, A, have been to a baseball game, or B, watch one on TV, I bet you they couldn't tell me. They couldn't say, well, I don't know, Dad, it's been 3 or 4 years.
Because it's slow, it's not fast-paced.
Right.
And baseball is changing rules to make it more, to increase the speed of it, but it's never going to be as exciting as 2 guys or 2 women in an octagon beating the hell out of each other.
Or the NFL, or even to the point where, to a certain extent, I mean, soccer's still too dry for me because of the fact that, it was a 1-0 game. Okay, to me, that's boring.
Outdoor soccer. Indoor soccer is really fast-paced.
Right, that's boring as hell. But see, once again, this whole crazy thing with what's happening with sports and things like that, who'd they get? Zotto, what was his name? He got a $750 million contract. I mean, tell me somebody who's worth, now once again you can say, well, anybody's worth what somebody will pay you. It's like same thing with cars. If you're a car collector or an art collector, like that goofball that paid how many $1 million for the banana with a piece of duct tape stuck to the wall. I remember who's the dude that does all the weird street art. He had remember the one thing where they had the auction, and at the end of the auction, the art piece shredded itself in the frame. Remember that? What's his name? Boxy.
Oh yeah. I know what you're saying.
What's his name? Coxey or something like that. I mean, man, give me a break. I mean, it's just so stupid, okay?
Well, and but baseball should also be worried about pickleball, too.
Well, there's another thing. To me, it's like, once again, if I go on my old high school reunion page, and it's to the point where it's like, I'm thinking, and once again, I'm not retired. I'm still working every day, 7 days a week, okay? And at times I'm thinking to myself, I'm much better off than talking about, oh, we're so sad they're knocking down Chesterfield Mall because now we can't go play pickleball and go to Harpo's afterwards. I'm going like, if that's the high point of my life, just put that piece of lead into my brain right now. I just don't want to live anymore. I know.
And the simple solution is to put another Harpo's right outside River Roads Mall. And if you did that, then you could, they'd have to drive a few extra miles, but you could... Why isn't there a Harpo's, Brad, outside River Roads?
I have no idea. because they don't have enough bulletproof glass to put on the windows for Harpo's at that location. Okay, did I say that? I guess I did. Okay, last but not least, John, last thing to talk about. Okay, once again, I am very frustrated by the press. And I can't remember how you pronounce this guy's name. He used to be at CNN. He was one of their star reporters. Chris Cillizza, or what's his name? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Cillizza.
Cillizza. Yeah. Chris Cillizza. Have you heard the interview with him yesterday?
No, I haven't.
He's coming out and saying, well, you know what? He quit CNN a couple years ago. I don't know what he's doing right now. He was one of their high-profile reporters, and, very liberal kind of guy. He's come out now and in an interview, I don't know if it was a podcast or what it was, but I've heard a couple cuts of the audio. He's doing a mea culpa because he didn't ask enough questions about President Biden's health. And this comes after the blockbuster article, which we didn't even talk about, in the Wall Street Journal. You know what I'm talking about? The Wall Street Journal article talked about how Biden is like in terrible shape. And
yeah, way worse than anybody has ever reported before. Yeah.
Right, way worse than anybody's reported. And now Chris, how do you pronounce his name again?
Cillizza.
He's essentially saying, well, as a reporter, I feel bad that we didn't pursue this much. Well, guess what? You and every other liberal reporter, because it's like the emperor's clothes. All you had to do is, and once again, the presidential debate was at June 26th or something like that. I remember I was in my office working. I was listening to that on the radio, and that started, and I thought to myself, I don't believe what I'm hearing. I mean, this guy who's our president, he can't make any sense.
Yeah.
And to the point where I'm going like, and one they say, oh, he had a cold. Oh, he had some cough syrup. No. And once again, I will say it again. You know who I think is the worst person in this whole situation? The person.
Who's that? Oh, Joe Biden.
No. The person who I think who should be essentially criticized till the day she dies. There's a hint. Criticized. You know who I'm talking about?
I said Joe Biden. It's not Jill.
Oh, I thought you said Joe Biden.
No, Jill Biden.
Yes, Jill Biden. Yes, Jill Biden. Okay. As a loving wife, and I have unfortunately seen this myself with people that I know, because let's be honest, most marriages, the dude is dead before the woman dies. And you go to most retirement homes, it's 80% women, 20% men. There comes a time when every good wife should say to their husband, honey, I think you should step aside, or honey, I think it's time for you to retire, or honey, I think it's time for you to not do what you're doing anymore because you're not doing well. You've lost it. You've got problems. But yet, what she's saying, oh, my husband's on top of the world. And remember all these people, they would ask, and just the other day it came out again, they asked that crazy, stupid jerk, the border dude, Mayorkas, every time when I listen to, that comes up right at 8 o'clock, when I listen to the Armstrong and Getty show, they have this funny quote that when he was in a congressional hearing and they wanted to subpoena him, and apparently a reporter came and asked him, well, you're supposed to be a subpoena, you're supposed to show up for tomorrow. And he says, I have a busy day tomorrow. I have a busy day Tuesday.
Yes. He's not going to have any time on his calendar.
Right.
He looked at his Outlook calendar. There's no time.
I have a busy day on Wednesday. I have a busy day on Thursday. It's like, John, if you and I are subpoenaed by any level court, the federal, state, county, whatever, if we don't show up, guess what the judge does?
Well, he's going to issue a warrant for us, right?
Exactly. He's going to issue a warrant for our arrest because we have essentially dissed the court. We've said, hey, we're not showing up. Screw the court.
But is it actually, if you go down to St. Louis Public Radio while they're taping the legal roundtable, isn't that kind of like being at the embassy? Like they can't serve a warrant while you're physically in the presence of the legal roundtable, right?
Yeah, because Sarah Fensky has
a halo around her.
Right.
When I picture her, I picture a halo.
Okay, John, we haven't talked about this off air. We've got 30 seconds left. We're going to take Wednesday off. We're going to take New Year's Day off. I'll do Christmas Eve with you. And I'll do New Year's Eve with you. We'll take the loss on those days. I won't be here Christmas Eve, so we'll do Monday. Okay, we'll do Monday. Okay.
Okay, great.
And then we'll do Thursday and Friday next week, right? Then.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So next week we'll do what now? We'll do Monday, but not Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll do Thursday and Friday.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's great with me.
And then the week after that, do we do 4 days out of 5? Do we do Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, we could do New Year's Eve. If you want to do New Year's Eve, we'll do it.
Okay. But we'll talk about that. Okay, so you're on board with all that then?
Absolutely. It sounds great, Brad.
So we won't be government shutdown people. We'll be slaving over hot microphones, right?
You're dang right we will, Brad. Well, I hope you have a great weekend, Brad.
Okay, John. Good talking to you. I will talk to you on Monday.
All right.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?